Good early morning. It is 2:58 in the morning, and this morning I'm thinking about going through kind of my AI schemes, how they work, and how I make them with ChatGPT. Initially, when I first started to do this stuff, my idea was to turn a movie into like a movie script into a video. And that was inspired by the fact that at that point it was possible to have a script spoken out by AI. That was, I realized that I can do that, and then I realized I can have AI generate pictures. And so the initial script idea I had was that, okay, I want to have like this AI readable script that has scenes, and every scene can be then turned into pictures and spoken audio. And I also had a sort of lofty idea that the actors could be like they could be actors, and they would all have this name would have like a pound sign like here, and then there would be actor lines, and the actor lines then would be spoken, but you could have many different actors. And I sort of worked with that. I made many different versions of this. I even made versions where the scenes were rendered into videos, but I kind of in the end I went against that because on my computer it took so long. But that was kind of the starting point last summer, last July. And my initial idea was that when I was working with ChatGPT, that hey, let's do this all in one script. But the initial script turned out to be 300 lines, and last July ChatGPT actually was able to do that. It will take a lot of tries, and you would have to ask ChatGPT to do that again and again and again and again. But I can show you guys, like if we go to ChatGPT and we ask it to do something like that. Okay, give me a script that turns a text file with format scene X and actor line noted by, say, actor lines here where scenes are in. So you can ask like in real language, and you have this idea, and you write it, and you press enter. And ChatGPT begins to do this. Of course, like something like this, the initial idea that it comes up with is it's just concentrating, like right here with this Python language. It's concentrating on, I can show you guys, but it's concentrating on the format of how the script would be. And in this initial script, it's not talking anything about spoken language. It's not talking anything about, like it misunderstands a little bit. But when you work with ChatGPT, you have to keep on honing the point. And it can be a very arduous process, but eventually you can end up with a script that can do exactly what I said. And the scripts that I was working with eventually they became vast. They became hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lines. I can show you guys, this is one of the versions that I have. This didn't do everything that I said, because then I realized I can start stripping the script into different subscripts. And I had to do that because ChatGPT, at the end of the day, ChatGPT is bad at doing it all in one go. It of course it can be done in one go. You can have one massive script, couple thousand lines long, that can do all that. But eventually I realized that I had to start doing a sort of multi-script system where, for example, here's a British sitcom script that I was working with yesterday. That is where the thing is ran in multiple different scripts, and then it runs in a loop. And basically, like what this does here, this first script, there's like a bunch of folders that I made to do this video file. And this first thing empties the folders. The second one here in this script, this writes the script, and right now the idea is that actually AI with the prompt writes the script. But I have many different versions of this. There's a version where before the script there's basically the computer randomly goes to Reddit and reads a random article, and then that gets turned into a text, and that gets processed by AI, and then AI turns it into a script. But basically AI in this process is just used to generate text, to generate the script. But then the formatting of the script, that's done with sort of logic, like what it was instantly here starting to think about, like how would the logic be? And that's something that ChatGPT is really good at. It can process these files. It can start giving you ideas. Basically, you don't have to really think about that logic stuff. This is the programming stuff that would take even a good programmer a while. And this is the sort of stuff that I was never good at. But ChatGPT is good at it. And all you have to do is tell it the idea. But if we go on with this like British sitcom idea here, then basically here we have this turns it into a description file where like when we have the script and the ChatGPT has processed the prompt into a script like this one here, British sitcom, then it goes through each line. The AI goes through each line and it turns it into a description, like how should this line be described. And the idea there is that the next script here in the process turns it into images. So this is ran with Python script1.py description.text, and this starts to go line by line by line by line. It turns these things into images. And then we have yet another script here that goes to the folder where these images appear, and it turns them into scenes. Like I was talking, the thing works with scenes, and it goes to the I have here many different folders. There's assets folder, and it goes to the assets folder and turns it into scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, scene 4. And like I was saying to you guys earlier, like the initial idea is that you have the actor, and that's why there's the narrator, black narrator picture here, because I actually initially I had all the actors, there was an image of them, and I even had a version where the actors were speaking, and all this is doable, all this is something that I tried, but right now it takes a long time. And then there's a sort of, this fixes the script if it has any problems, and then this speaks it out, and then this is a loop, and this gets ran. But this is the sort of stuff that you can do with ChatGPT, and what's missing here from being it really super duper good, first of all, if I was working with OpenAI API, which I have worked with, it would do everything better. It would write the text better, it would write the descriptions better, which would end up in a better final result, but that cost money, and I don't do that. So I actually use LM Studio, which is, this thing runs AI models. You can find AI models from here, and then like you go like this, you find AI models. Takes a little bit, but like you can see here, there is just today all these fine-tuned AI models. Most of them are made from something like Llama or Microsoft Orca or something like that, and this one can run them. And then I run these things in server mode, and this is my AI backend. This is my AI server that I have to have always running when I'm doing these schemes. But. My initial idea was that the AI is almost magical, that the AI can do perfect text, perfect images. And if it was that way, then this idea would work beautifully. Like if it was that way, then this whole scripting scheme and all these different scripting schemes that I have, they could make videos, they could make amazing stuff. But that is right now, that's the weak point. But that's a question of time. Like with time, these AI models will get better, the picture AIs will get better, and then video AI models will get better. I did use video AI models earlier. I used Sad Talker for doing kind of talking avatar heads. I had Model Scope was doing like sort of transitional videos, but it sucks. It's not very good. But basically every day I wake up these days, I check up Hugging Face spaces and Hugging Face trends because here we have these different things every day. Like this is Spaces of the week, this is what is trending. And all these new things, every day there are new things. Every day there are new things to try on these sorts of ideas. Like yesterday there was a whisper speech, and this was actually amazing. This is amazing. It makes, I don't know if right now you guys can hear if I try it, but let's just write something here. Hi guys, how are you doing? So this is a new TTS model that just popped up to my like I had not heard of this before yesterday. So you can upload audio here. Let's go here. I actually have folders where I have samples of because my initial idea was I was doing the affliction scheme, and I wanted to turn actor voices into, like, use deepfake voices and have deepfake actor voices to it. But then I realized as I was doing this kind of people started to go against that you can't do that, you can't use actor voices, and then I finally realized that okay, I can't do that, fine, and I gave up on that whole deepfake idea. But so now it's rendering with Elvis voice. I don't have a stereo on, so if you guys heard it, I didn't. Wait a guess. And now a further problem. I have muted my Chrome.
Hi guys, how are you doing?
Well, sort of like Elvis, but this was what popped up yesterday, and this was from this 15-second sound sample. But every morning I wake up, I check up this stuff, and like what I had right there earlier was there was the lava, I think more lava. So to do something like this, of course, well, you need something like this. Lava is basically this recognizes what is happening in the image. Like, we can try it. So you can ask questions about images, and it will process the image. This is AI looking at the image, and it's gonna give us a response. The man is ironing clothes on street, specifically on back of yellow taxi. It's not done in home. It's not common to see someone ironing clothes. Like in my scheme, I actually need something like this. I was thinking this morning because the images that this thing here produces with the Easy Diffusion 1, or Easy Diffusion, which is it's a Stable Diffusion AI. The problem is that the images don't always match the description. Even though I have AI here describing the image, then when they are produced, they don't always match the description, or they are somehow just not right. So basically something like this, an AI that looks at the image or sentiment analysis, it should be integrated into this sort of scripting system, because there should be a kind of an eye looking at how it's going to be, how it should be. But of course, once again, problem is that when we have a script and these are generated separately from each other, and there is kind of no, what would you call that, there's no it doesn't remember the actors, like in this case it does not remember the actor face and so forth. There would actually have to be a sort of director that looks at this whole process of everything, like the text, the images, how the actors sound. There would have to be something like that to make the scheme work perfectly. And this is a little bit like early, this would do a little piece of it. This would do a little piece of it, but what I really need is I need the director AI. And every day when I wake up and I look at these different projects, that's kind of what I'm scanning for. Like, what could I use? What could be useful? But it's not enough to just look at one place. Like, there is things popping up all the time that, frankly, if you just look at Hugging Face, if you just look at GitHub, if you just read Reddit, if you just look at YouTube, they just go by you, and you just don't. You just don't see the cutting edge. Like, there was something that happened last year I was completely oblivious to, which was the whole spline, this is utterly mind-blowingly incredible, a 3D editor inside a browser. I just found this a couple of days ago, instantly subscribed to it, because I realized that what this can do, it can I can put Gaussian splatting models that I have done with also with kind of AI model, and I can drop them into games and so forth, like here in this Vespa mini game. And it's a playable game, and I could here you guys can see how the game is done. There's the Gaussian splatting that I dropped into it, and I can move all these things. There's all the different parts, but this had went completely under the radar for me, just utterly under the radar. A 3D freaking game designer inside a browser. I mean, just absolutely, completely mind-blowing. And the way I got into 3D stuff was that I was working with Unity, and I was working with Supersplat. Supersplat to edit the map, and then Unity, where I realized that I can actually turn these Gaussian splatting things into a game. But then I realized that, holy crap, you can do that all online. And basically I'm a 50-year-old geezer at this point, waking up once again to the tech stuff that I used to do as a kid, and I realized how things have changed. I used to use DOS as a kid. I even had a small computer company. I used to build computers, but even that, I never got into programming, and the thing that was keeping me from programming really was the stress. The stress never felt right for me, and that was probably because of my brain damage. But because I now have ChatGPT, ChatGPT helps me to turn ideas into reality. But yeah, this is pretty much the kind of a logic and flow of how these ideas come about, and how I work with them, and how you too, if anybody was watching this far, can work with these sorts of ideas. And the main thing that I would like to say, if anybody's watching, is that if you have ideas you can say in English language, ChatGPT helps you to turn those things into a code. And the initial response from ChatGPT may be scary, and it may be that this just doesn't work, but you have to keep at it. And when you keep at it, and when you start looking at the code, you start to sort of understand the code a little bit, and you start to understand the bits a little bit and bobs a little bit, and initially you can actually turn ideas that sound very complicated into software. And like, for example, in my case, I know that I could turn this stuff into real software that I could give to anyone, but because I'm just working on this by myself and I feel they are not really good enough for other people to really to use, or they are not, people would not need them, I have not gone that far. I have a couple times I have turned them into like exe file packages and so forth, so I know it's doable. But another thing, one can put this to GitHub, but once again, because I see such a high quality stuff at Hacking Space and GitHub and stuff, I feel like I probably shouldn't. But yeah, I hope you guys are well.